Hey, Gearheads. Hey, Tar Heel Stay Hangers. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Hanging with Pickl and Mike podcast. I've got Mike in the green room, but right now he's coming in hot. He's peeling into the driveway. It looks like he's got his sunglasses turned around. Who knows? John, Jerry, good evening, guys. Thanks for joining me. Tonight we've got a special guest. We've got Todd with Parallel 43 Hammocks, a cottage vendor hammock company out of Idaho. That is one of the newer hammock guys on the scene. Todd makes some glorious hammocks and has a glorious beard. So we're going to get Mike in here, and then we'll get Todd on, and we'll see what we can do from there.
Hello,
Mike, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Oh.
Sounds good. Look at you sporting some UGQ tonight. I had to play the corporate role today, so I'm still a little overdressed.
Well, I guess that sucks to be you then.
It does. It does. But, you know, it is what it is. You got to pay the bills. Mama's been accustomed to a lifestyle, and I got to keep paying those bills to keep Mama in that lifestyle that she's been accustomed to.
I can completely understand that.
So, if you don't mind, Mike, unless you got anything you need to get off your chest right away tonight, I'll bring Todd on in here, and we'll get this thing started.
No, at the moment, nothing pressing on my chest that I want to get off. At least if
Good.
so, this is not the audience for it.
This is not the audience for it. So let's bring Todd in here.
To hear all of this.
Yeah. Let's bring Todd on in here and get this party rolling. Todd, good evening.
Evening.
Hello, Todd.
How you doing, Mike?
Doing great.
There we go. Welcome to the podcast. How's the weather out in Idaho?
It's been a little hot today, which is we're having a hard time getting used to it because it's been unseasonably cool until the last couple days. So, but we're coming into our hot, dry summer now. So,
good deal. All right, let me keep getting some greetings out here. G, what's up? Thank you. I do kind of look pretty when I clean up. Every now and then, y'all get to see the finer.
I'll be back momentarily.
Where are you going? This is what I deal with. This is my co-host. Anyway, Dan McNeil with MCN Hammocks. Welcome, sir. Nice of you to join us. My wife did not dress me, John Rammel. I dress myself, sir. I have a keen sense of style from the late 90s and the early 2000s. It worked then, it works now, it'll work next decade. I mean, heck, I even got my post-COVID haircut, and it resembles the same bowl cut I had in the early 90s. So back off. I dress myself. I tell my hairstylist what haircut I want. I still can't grow a beard, but, you know, the goatee's nice. I ain't seen Mike in a minute. John might be right. I think Mike might have dry docked in the car. So, since Mike's away, I want everybody to start the rumor tomorrow that Mike's now dry docking out of the car.
Don't worry, I only had to go get my hang time hook. I know when I disappear and come back, y'all get a little nervous.
We just figured you dry docked coming out of the car.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure on that.
Okay. All right, everybody. Still, you know, let's just still talk to rumors that Mike dry docked coming out of the car. That'll be most fun. So, Todd,
I'm going to make sure I don't fall out.
that America is trolling at his finest. Made him shut the door and put on the seatbelt so he did not fall out. So as I was trying to get to, Todd, tell me about Parallel 43.
Well, it's me, and that's pretty much it. I guess
Okay.
it's been, I've been backpack my whole life, Idaho native. My first trip my dad and I went on when I believe I was 9 years old, and waking up in a puddle teaches you a lot about tent site selection. So there's been some experiences like that, and I think it's probably been 7 years ago maybe. I kind of got interested in hammocks,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always liked making stuff for myself. And then I kind of went, well, I'm not saying it's all easy, but it's doable. And I'm going to figure out how to make my own stuff. And it went from there. And then I started having friends ask me to make stuff for them. And
Okay.
this is kind of where it's at now. I figured, you know what? I want to work for myself, and this is a good way to make it happen. And I love making this stuff.
Good deal. Okay. So what all do you carry? Because I'll be honest with you, when Mike mentioned that you were interested and made the contact for us, I'd never heard of Parallel 43. So I usually kind of pride myself in knowing the niche companies, but you were flying under my radar. So I promise
Well,
you.
my up until probably the last year, 90% of my clientele has been word of mouth.
Okay.
And so I was working a different full-time job, and I didn't see a good reason to try to advertise and try to generate more business, because at the time I didn't have the time to do it.
Okay.
And the last thing I want to do is be one of those, fly by night cottage guys that makes a lot of promises and then can't fulfill them and disappears.
Yep. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do that from time to time and making those promises, both in the distant and recent past, making promises that they can't fulfill. We do have a question from the audience. G23s wanting to know where you're at in Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. So
Who's that?
Southwest Idaho.
Southwest Idaho, out in Boise.
Yep.
And the only thing I know about Boise is it's a pretty country state, Idaho area, and they got a blue football field, and that's about it.
Those are true.
But I can find it on a map.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I have a T-shirt somewhere with an outline of Idaho, and it says Iowa across the front. And it's
Yeah, it's west of Montana and east of Oregon and Washington.
You're right there. Yep.
And no, folks, I didn't pull up a map before this to find out where Boise was.
And yes, that is a state capital, and that's and Parallel 43. This is my hometown. We're on the 43rd parallel right here, and I was born and raised here with family going back several generations on both sides. So
good deal.
It's we've been here a while.
Good deal. Mike, what are you doing?
I was out that I ran across you from Jeff at Elevated hiker apparel.
Yeah.
Jeff Bubba's.
Water bottles holders.
Yep. Okay. Mike, I mean, you were showing off your pond. I'm waiting for you to just sit down the camera and jump in.
That's not going to happen.
Come on. You can dry dock for ratings. Why can't you go jump in a lake?
That's going to be worth more than 12 cents.
Oh, come on, man. Somebody break out the singles. How much money can we raise for Mike to jump in the lake? My PayPal is hangers@gmail.com. All right. So what do you sell at Parallel 43?
Well, I've kind of started out making custom hammocks, and I've really been trying to focus more on on doing some tarps.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's just so many fantastic hammock makers out there. I mean, there's a ton of them. And so I want to be able to offer that, but I really feel like I can, when it comes to tarps and all the details, I feel like I make a really nice tarp.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work on some more accessories and that sort of thing. So, and don't get me wrong, I feel like I make a really nice hammock too. But, and yeah, right now I've got the one on there, but that's like I said, we're a work in progress. So
No. I mean, you gotta start someplace. You've got to, it's got to come from someplace. And I really think some of the beauty of what I like to have here for the show is, yeah, we can talk to the big guys. I mean, I've had Dutch, I've had Jack's Are Better, I've had Cedar Ridge, I've had Trailheads. I mean, John follows the show every single week. I've got Dan McNeil with MCN Hammocks in here. So I've got two spectacular hammock builders here, that follow the show on a consistent basis. But I want to talk to the little guys too. I want to talk to the guys that are just starting out, that have something truly innovative and fun to offer, because I'm not making any money off this. I don't want to make any money off this. I want to see my friends succeed. I want to see my friends and my associates actually do something. Nothing makes me happier than if 2 days from now you message me and be like, dude, I got 4 orders or 2 orders or heck, a single order for a set of straps just off the podcast. That's what drives me, is helping others achieve their goals, because for me, it's all gravy. This is just fun pastime,
Well, I think for me, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, for me in this area, part of my, delay in pushing a website and all of that is just, I feel like Idaho was a little late to the hammock game in some ways. As far as the bulk of people that backpack here, it's still, I mean, you still see external frame packs and guys carrying 50 pounds of gear up the hill in a Gregory pack. And I still have friends that do that. And that's just the way they've always done it and the way they're going to keep doing it. But for a lot of them, hammocks are new. And so to have somebody local that they can actually talk to, I mean, and that's one of the things that has generated a lot of my sales, I feel like, is I've sold a lot of stuff to local people. And part of what I provide with that is, yeah, we're going to meet at the park and I'm going to show you how to get all this stuff set up and make sure that you're using it correctly and you know what you're doing and you know what to look out for and how to make your adjustments. And I feel like a bulk of my customers have been new to hammocks.
Well, I mean, as much as I love my hammocks and I love my setups, I don't go to a group hang ever, and there's not somebody there that doesn't need help, that isn't new to it, that doesn't know to look for, widow makers or the span of the trees or, things that us seasoned hangers really take for granted. So
yeah, you forget how many things you learned along the way. Yeah.
And it just becomes second nature. I know that I walk off 6 strides. There's my 16 feet. I know I'm going to put my straps at just above my head and my hammock's going to be set up and ready to go. Mike's going to wait. Yeah. And I know we'll get to camp at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and at 10 o'clock at night, it's good and dark and the campfire's going. And then Mike's going to disappear because that's about the time he decides to set up his hammock.
Too much
we have
stuff to do in camp.
Now we kind of have a tradition here of I backpack with a group of guys that gets pretty antsy to get out of town. So there's been plenty of times it's like, well, let's drive up after work and we're going to hike with headlamps and hit that first lake and set up in the dark. But downside is almost every time I've done that, I've been 30 feet away from a much better spot.
Yep. Yep. That's usually,
Well, see, for me, setting up in the dark, it causes me to do a lot less editing with it.
Yeah.
I just throw it up. I get it done. I don't hang my tarp, then go sit down, talk for 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, then go hang my hammock up, go sit down, talk for an hour, go put the underquilt on. If it's dark, I just go over there, bam, bam, bam. I'm done with it. And it's somehow or another, it seems to work out to where I get a much better hang that way because I'm not looking at it. I'm going off a natural instinct of what I've taught myself instead of nitpicking every little thing and trying to adjust this and adjust that. I just go do it.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not overthinking it. So
Yeah, exactly.
yep.
And
So
something I'd like to say real quick about Todd and his work and everything. Even though I haven't got the item in hand yet, I ordered a insulated water bottle holder, and me and him started commenting back and forth, which led into some PMs. What I wanted ended up he didn't have it on the website. He went above and beyond. His website only accepted PayPal to start with. I needed to use a debit card.
mhm.
He went through the process of getting it set up to where I could pay with a debit card through the website. Then the particular color fabric I wanted, he didn't have it as an option. He added that as an option, and also added in
Did he stitch on the Tinkerbell patch for you, Magic Mike?
No, will y'all leave my Tinkerbell patch alone? But anyways, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, yeah, he just went beyond, above and beyond to accommodate me. Even honored his sale that he had going on that I initially saw, and it was a short run time frame of a sale. Then yesterday, I got an email saying that it shipped. And of course, he's talked to me, let me know that, hey, in the morning, yours is first in the morning to be made. It's kept me in the loop really greatly. Then I get an email yesterday saying that my water bottle has shipped and water bottle holder has shipped. Well, Todd reaches out to me today to let me know that he was not happy with some of the stitch work on the one that he had made first. So he had made a second one, but when he shipped them out, he had grabbed the first one and sent the first one out to me that he wasn't happy with. So he told me just because he wasn't happy with that first one, just to keep that one, and that the second one was on his way. That speaks volumes about somebody making an item, at least to me. And I've dealt with about every vendor there is, and if I haven't, it's probably just because your work didn't impress me, to be honest.
And there's a few of them out there that, you know, I can get. Everybody's buying their fabric from either Dutch or Ripstop. Everybody's got almost the same shaped 11-foot hammock. There's a few out there that are making different shapes, but for the most part, it comes down to your seamstry work. And if you can't sew, I can't sew. Okay, this is why I run my mouth. I can run my mouth. I can't sew. And if you can't sew, then people are going to learn that, why am I spending all this money with you because you can't sew when I can get it from Todd, who Todd sews amazingly. Those lines are straight as a I don't know, I want to say arrow, but I've seen an arrow in flight and that ain't straight. So
Like railroad.
But I'm not gonna lie, there's plenty of stuff on these shelves back here that I've been using for a long time that I don't want to show people. Because I mean,
every vendor either has or should have a pile of gear and stuff like that.
oh yeah, and I got a lot of functional gear that has kind of ugly stitching on it, and it works fine, but it is not. It's DIY,
yep.
Not professionally made.
All right, so we do have a. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
We got a couple questions from the audience. G wants to know, does he make hammocks for real men, 6 feet 350?
Sure.
G's looking for a real hammock. He's still fighting around with the land. So
Oh,
So there's
yeah,
at least $20 in on me jumping in the plane.
I was getting ready to get there. I mean, John's throwing. Let's get this question out of the way, so then we can get down to that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Todd.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I kind of ran into with Enos is, I'm 5'7", and I felt like that hammock was too short for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually, I'm sure a million other people out there, that's the first thing I bought when I wanted to try out a hammock. But yeah, as far as 6 foot, I mean, yeah, do like that, the 1.7 mountain from Ripstop by the Roll.
Yep.
You're good. You're good at like 400 pounds there.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's my understanding that their 1.7 is got a higher weight capacity than the 1.9 because of the way that it's made.
It may be.
Yeah, but the same boat. But absolutely, and if 11 feet's not enough, it's custom made. Give me a call. We'll make a longer one.
There we go. There you go, G. You may have your hammock vendor since he's close by too.
And I'm sorry, I didn't see where he was at. Oh,
where you at, G? All I have to do is North I-5, East I-84. And he was asking if you hang over in Coeur d'Alene.
That is Idaho's a tall, skinny state, and that is a long ways away from me. I got about 7 hours to Coeur d'Alene from here. So
let's see. Okay, now we're into. Anne Marie showed up with Autumn Ultralights. You got some heavy hitters on stitch work. John Rammel saying, Jerry, I put 20 on Mike diving in. You match? We haven't heard from Mr. Dehart yet. See if he'll match John's Mike cannonballing into the lake.
Well, I think the other question is what's Mike's price here?
Don't ask him that because he'll inflate it.
Oh, I apologize.
Now see, there's turtles in my pond here, sir. You got to take that into calculation.
No.
Yes, because they're pumping the heads up right in there.
Jerry Dehart has. We're up to $40 as long as Mike's not wearing the special draws.
That's gonna cost you extra for me not to. I mean, it is kind of like a bikini.
Hold on, what I got in my pocket? I got a 10 spot.
All right, John, Jerry. We at 50 now. Somebody make it an even 60, and I hear that Tar Heel PayPal ding ding.
Well, so far, everybody that's ponied up's good for the money.
Oh, but that don't say ching ching though.
Oh, it will. By the way, I've got one of Tar Heel's favorite vendors with Trailheads and Jerry Dehart's Tar Heel State Hangers Member of the Year. So, hell, I mean, I could probably put up another 30 and just take it off of what Mike owes me.
You clear my debt out, and I'll go continue to that corner.
That's tempting. Oh, John said he's already paid.
I just took a shower.
All right, folks. The shenanigans have started early.
Y'all let me at least go get a towel.
Oh, Mike's going to go get a towel now. All right, that's fine. We'll run this with Mike getting a towel. By the way, we are live streaming to YouTube, so that when Mike does jump in the lake, we'll be able to rebroadcast this to our heart's content, make memes out of it, and cause all sorts of shenanigans in the process. So back to the situation at hand. Todd, do you got anything coming up? Anything new? Anything you need a beta tester for that, slept in a whole
Well,
bunch of
I'll talk
hammocks?
to you. I've I was always very interested in geometry, and I've just been trying out some different bug net shapes, and
Okay.
it's been I feel like I'm getting close to something that's workable. Unfortunately, I'm sure there's plenty of other people in that comments list that understand that, you think you have a great idea and everything looks good on paper, and then you make one and
Yep.
it just doesn't work like I want it to. So
Yep.
then you got to figure out what
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 went
the problem
right?
is
What
and
went
what you
wrong?
modify. And
Yep.
yep.
Now,
So
are you still poly, still nylon, DCF, all the above, none of the above?
I'm sil poly, sil nylon. Personally, I kind of prefer the sil poly just because you don't get that stretch when it gets wet.
Okay.
But it's my understanding that you have more tear resistance and durability out of sil nylon.
Okay.
And so really, I'd offer either one. And it's one of those things that when somebody asks me, I can't really give you a definitive, this one's better than this one.
Okay.
They both have their pros and cons. As far as DCF, at this point in what I'm doing, trying to prototype with that stuff is a bit out of what I can really afford to drop to try some things out.
Yep.
And at least for my local market here, there's a surprisingly small demand. And I think a lot of that is just the cost. And I deal with a lot of people that do a lot of hunting. And around here, it's pretty typical for people to do a couple backpacking trips a year where they go out for 5 or 6 days.
Okay.
And so a lot of people that I deal with, at least, are looking for gear that they can still use in 5 years.
Gotcha.
And it's, at least from what my understanding is that some of the longer term results from DCF as far as use in tarps, that there can be some durability issues and that kind of thing. So
yep, I've completely agree that it's not as. Somebody send me PayPal money? Yep, I just received the PayPal from Trailheads. Thanks, John. Already got it. Oh no! Please don't tell me you in those britches.
Trying to see what views y'all see.
I see the. Yep. I see the road. I see the big tree. I see the lake. You gonna put the phone in the lake? Boy, I'm glad I got a beer. Yep. Anne Marie actually prefers sil nylons. Mike, you just completely froze up on us.
Oh God!
Now, if you froze up, no, you're gonna have to jump in again. None of this wet hand, wet hair. There we go. Now you're back.
Can you see the pond?
I can see the pond.
Can you see the red towel down there at the corner?
Nope, wrong one. Here, I'm gonna mess this around. There we go. Now we got Mike in the middle. I can't spotlight Mike.
I'm behind the camera.
I know you're behind the camera. I'm just trying to spotlight your camera.
Can y'all see the red towel down there at the corner?
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to.
Okay. If this falls over, it ain't gonna count. It's like you set it down and it freezes, Mike. Oh, just hold the phone when you jump in. That pond's not that deep.
I'm hitting to close the screen off. All right, I'll still see the pond.
Yep, still see the pond. All right, folks. Once again, this is low budget. This is Oh, we just fell back. This is a low budget production, so bear with us. We're just trying to have some fun, just trying to have some shenanigans. Mike, I do have that $20 from Trailheads, so I don't know if it was John or if it was Karen that sent it, but I think it was John because I think he wants to see you, your skinny little self jump in the lake. Come on, I see the camera.
I think John wants to see me in my monolights.
That's true. So the joke on the monolights, Todd, is Mike was running his mouth one night and said the worst thing that we'd want to see is him run. Holy cow! He just dove flat in. There we go. Mike has taken a bath, Dosey. Budget guns, J3. He just dove in and swam the length of the pond. Oh, is he coming back? Is he doing the backstroke? That boy can actually swim. I'm so proud of him. There we go. Live on YouTube. Thank God he had britches on. Bless. All right, I'm going to drop him. Oh, nope. Oh, he's swimming back over. What is he doing, laps? All this for $20. Thanks, John. Oh, he almost got hit. What is he doing over there? I wish I had a zoom, but okay. That's fine. Budget guns and gears. Last time I went camping, I used a tent. It was horrible. Yeah, I posted in our Tar Heel State Hangers chat last week if anybody wanted to do a tent camping trip with me to let me know. I was really just trying to poke the bear, but a couple people reached out, so I may have to break out my spectacular Solo Light Heart Gear Firefly tent and get it some trail time. All right, so since Mike was doing his thing, it was worth it, John. Yeah. Anne-Marie paid to send Mike swimming too. Good deal. We got all sorts of money coming in. Yep. Good deal. Thank you all those that decided to donate to the cause to get get Mike his bath for the month. He needed it, I promise. But as I was saying, as he jumped in, Mike was running his mouth one night around the campfire that said, worst thing y'all going to see is me running through camp with some monolight britches. Well, John decided to start painting, putting together and sewed up Mike a set of monolight britches. Sir, I appreciate that. That was pretty good. Good job.
I'd have made it further, but when I hit the water, I got a lung full of water.
Yummy. Ugh. Didn't find any of them turtles, did you?
No, I kept it moving long enough not to get them.
Well, brother, I'm proud of you. That was fairly enjoyable.
The things I got entertainment.
That's right. I got money from I'll forward that to you after the show. No, Jerry, this was not Mike's first bath for the year. This was just Mike's first bath for the month of June.
Yeah, I didn't even need it.
Didn't even need it yet. He had just had his May bath.
Y'all know I went paddling this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. You got that bath too. All right, so I guess now's a good time. Hey, if you like the podcast, if you're enjoying the content that we bring forward, if you're enjoying the content that we bring and the guests that we have on, please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the share button, go ahead and subscribe to Gear Report. We also do this on Friday night with weekly articles that are coming out and projects that we're working on. I believe Friday at about 11 o'clock, we will have our first international live stream with our sewing crew out in Europe or Mediterranean. Let's see. MCN, just checking out your site, Todd. Pretty nice.
Thank you.
And then found the
That
Stitch
was,
Gallery. Nice work.
All right. It's been website design has been a bit of a learning curve for me, but it's
It
it's coming
is
along.
for most of us.
So,
it definitely is for most of us. So, Mike, how warm or cold was the water?
If I had to say, I would call it room temperature.
Room temperature. All right.
It wasn't bad. The worst part was, like I said, I got that lung full of water, and I just couldn't get it hacked up while I was swimming. When I finally decided to turn, because I ain't gonna lie, I tried manning it out, but sometimes you just know you got to pull it. I determined to go to the side, and I had a moment of about to start to panic there, and I was like, you got to keep it together.
I saw had a question here from Autumn Ultralight about the hexagon bug net shape.
There we go.
Yeah, that honestly came from a little bit of trial and error in trying to design a shape that had the correct ridgeline length and the correct perimeter length. You know, if I want to do a 10.5-foot hammock, then that means that ridgeline length and the perimeter length are fixed, and you have to find a shape that will accommodate that. And then the other thing I liked was just a symmetrical shape means that if you want to lay the other direction, it's not a problem.
Yep.
You don't have to decide when you're buying a hammock.
Yep, so, that's right.
And every other design I've been able to come up with is definitely asymmetrical. So that's basically how I wrote that. So
good deal. Well, Gun Loving Grandpa, come on in. You're a little late to the party tonight. Mike just hopped in, jumped in, swam the length of his little pond that he's got out in front of his house. G wants to know, do you do a pocket for the pistol?
I've not had a ton of demand for that really, but I have designed a couple. But yeah, let me look into that because I know that I do have some customers that are hunters that would be interested in that. You know, my biggest concern is how do you make something secure that you can hang from the ridge line that can kind of guarantee you that up and away.
Yep.
So,
and I think that's what most people have solved it with is something on the ridge line, so it's there, it's available, it's out of the way. But security's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if my phone falls out of a ridgeline pocket, no big deal. But that's a different situation. So
yeah, I got hit last hang at about 4:30 in the morning. I got hit with an 8-inch tablet that was in my hang time hook. The magnet plate on the tablet let loose and straight down into my lap. It was fortunately it was north. It was north of the pickle jar, so we were okay there. But it was smack dab on the belly button. It was just like oof.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't think I've missed any comments. Let's see.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I noticed earlier before Mike decided to pull his shenanigans there, Autumn Ultralight was asking, you know, she'd made a comment about sil nylon.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that the stretch, granted, I don't have a lot of scientific evidence behind this, but I did a couple years ago, I was kind of curious, you know, where one of my tarps would fail. Like what was that failure point going to be? Mm-hmm. So I took one that I had made a couple years prior, and hung it outside in the fall, and I left it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we had record snowfall that year.
Okay.
And I had that tarp out there with enough snow to pull the ridgeline down about 18 inches.
Okay.
And there was no room left inside. I had to go out there and clear it a few times.
Right.
But nothing failed.
That's
and
good.
So my curiosity is, with a limited stretch on sill poly, would it have survived that same test? So I don't know what the answer to that is, but the sill nylon stretched an incredible amount.
Okay.
And so that was it was an interesting test. So I'd like to do that again with a sill poly tarp. And that's I did, when I was younger, I did a lot of entertainment rigging. And that was one thing that was really interesting to me, is the way that companies test rigging products, which is basically to break them.
Yeah.
You make something and you pull on it until it breaks, and then you figure out where that's at.
Yep.
And so that's kind of what I want to do. I've done that with a sill nylon tarp, and now I need to do it with a sill poly tarp. 18 inches of snow did not kill a sill nylon tarp.
Okay.
So, but I just want to.
That's pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie. That's.
Oh, it's
700 pounds to damn near a ton.
And honestly, if I had been camping out then, it never would have gotten to that point.
Right.
Because it caved the sides in so much, you didn't have any room in there.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, I want to make things that hold up. I want to know what the failure points are so that I can reinforce those failure points and make these things last longer.
Good.
So
So you're on the, let's see, I've got a light gear guy. I got the best stitching in the world girl. And now I got my gear's going to last longer than yours guy. I'll take that.
Well, part of that's necessity. I mean, in a lot of where we go backpacking in Idaho, I mean, the last trip I did, our trailhead was 27 miles from the closest cell phone reception.
Okay.
And that was the trailhead. And then we went back in 7 miles.
Okay.
And, we went over a 10,000 foot ridge, and if you're back there and your gear fails, it's a really big problem. So that's kind of the background that I come from is, you carry a little bit more to make sure that if you get lost, you get stuck somewhere for a few days, that you're going to be all right. So, and you never know what's going to happen up there. I've had my water freeze in August. I've had thunderstorms blow through at 2:00 in the morning. We didn't see coming. And man, is it beautiful. So,
I can just imagine the dark skies, and you're probably far enough north, you may get a borealis from time to time.
I've never seen that in central Idaho, at least not personally, but but we have a couple really large wilderness areas here. And if I remember correctly, all told, between 3 or 4 of them, there's almost 2 million acres of roadless wilderness here in Idaho.
Wow.
And most of those areas, if there is a permit required, you grab it for free at the trailhead and hang it on your bag.
Okay.
And so, I've read articles about people scheduling their trips and drawing their permits. And I feel terrible because we decide where we're going and we go. Okay.
We just lost Mike. He may be back. But yeah, around here, if I want the Linville Gorge is one of my favorite places to hike, and it's an hour and a half from the house. If it wasn't a COVID year and I wanted to camp in the gorge, it was I got to show up and get one of the 50 permits that they issue every weekend, and that's it for backcountry camping in the gorge. So, it's kind of a real thing. A couple comments. Let's see. Christy Lynn, I would have paid money to see that Pickl. Well, you didn't have to pay money, and if you watch the replay at about 26 to about 30 minutes into the show, you get to see it. So Christy Lynn was happy to would have paid money to see you jump in, Mike.
I'll do it again.
Oh, you're so predictable.
I'm just here for y'all's pleasure. That's all.
Tonight's consumables brought to you by Tropipale Pale Ale out of the Booneshire Brewing Company out of Boone, North Carolina. Todd, what are you consuming tonight?
I felt kind of bad because I do not have an Idaho beer tonight, but we've got a Rogue Brewing Bat Squatch.
Yeah, the Rogue. Mike,
It's,
you still smoking Marlboros tonight?
Like a cowboy.
Smoking Marlboros, sucking down a Pepsi? That's right.
On an Autumn Ultralight again. I have seen a little bit of that trail inadvertently.
Okay.
But that I've never been really interested in long distance hiking, but the Centennial Trail is kind of on my bucket list because that's I think about 950 miles if I remember right, and it's Idaho-Nevada border all the way up to Canada, and a bulk of it is through central Idaho through all that wilderness that I was talking about. But it's from what I understand, it's logistically difficult with supplies and that sort of thing.
Just because it's so.
Well, there's a couple spots where you would have to pay for airdrops to get your supplies there, or you need to carry enough stuff for 10 days.
Woohoo!
So,
yeah, that 10-day slog at 30 pounds. What is Mike doing? I don't know. Mike, folks, I apologize. Mike must have got his phone wet or something. He's, I guess, having some technical issues tonight. So.
Let's see.
Hey, would you sit still?
I am. I set the phone down. I was looking at the chat and I hit the back button, trying to get back to us.
Golly. Sit still, man. Ay. Let's see. G's saying that brewery's in Roseburg, Oregon.
And he acts like he's been here before.
Yeah, he is. Mike will do anything for $1.
Newport, Oregon.
Newport, Oregon.
So not that far. Yeah.
I'm about
right
ready.
Vicinity.
Almost anything, G. Almost. There is some hard limits.
On that note, I'm gonna let Mike tell you the story about the midget strippers.
Yeah, pineapple juice is my taste word. That's all.
All right. Thank you for your commercial break. Once again, brought to you by the Booneshire Brewing Company out of Boone, North Carolina. So you got any trips coming up, Todd?
Getting on some for this summer. That's the downside to this area is right now a lot of the trails are still snowed in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at early to mid-July. So, but yeah, we're actually my girlfriend and I are planning on doing Chamberlain Basin this summer in the White Clouds. I did that one 4 or 5 years ago, and it is not an easy day, but if I remember correctly, got about 8 miles in. We start at 9, go up to 96, down to 86, up to 10, back down to 9, back up to 95 for the middle lake, and that's an 8-mile trip.
That's elevation, Mike. That ain't URI. That's elevations.
But I'll tell you, that view from the Chamberlain Divide is kind of a religious experience because all you can see 360 degrees around you is wilderness. So
nice.
It's, in fact, I don't know how well it'll show up here, but there's kind of a picture of it there.
There we go.
On my wall.
All right.
And that was not the top of the divide. That was on the way back up. But no, those are typically the kind of trips we do. Is we'll do something like that for 4 or 5, 6 days.
I see.
The reflective strip on the food bag. I got tired of looking for that thing at night.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you put a 2-inch tab on the bottom of that with 3M reflective stripe on it, and you'll find it.
It'll light up.
So, yep.
Sounds like
And
a man
that's
with a
really
heart. We know how important it is to me.
Yep. The bitter roots haven't really made it over that way. There's Sawtooth, Frank Church,
Mhm.
White Clouds, Pioneers, the Smoky Mountains. Spent quite a bit of time around around McCall on the other side of the hills there, but yeah, the bitter roots are on my list. That's the problem I have with traveling and backpacking is I don't think I have enough time left in my life just to get to all the places in Idaho I want to go to.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I completely understand. I know why kids through hike and quit life and through hike and coming out of college, because by the time you get to my age, there's too many other things that need to get taken care of. So,
yep, that's very true.
Yeah, I hit 40 and I was like, even if I live another 40 years, it really isn't that long. And I'm like halfway through my life.
you ain't going to live another 40 years. I hate to break it to you, brother, but you don't come to a sudden stop one day. I almost shed a tear.
Hey, I've slowed down a lot.
Gene wants to know, you've been out to Hood.
Man, Mount Hood, 20 years ago, I couldn't tell you exactly where we went. We did not go to the top of Mount Hood, but I have done some backpacking around that area a couple times. But like I said, that was in my early 20s. So
early.
Yep. I was a lot more light of foot then. So
backpacked any out east?
No, I have not.
Back east, as they used to call it.
I have not done any backpacking on that side of the Continental Divide.
Well, if you ever make it this way, I got the Smoky Mountains in my backyard. I got Pisgah National Forest in the backyard. As I was telling you the other night, I'm about hour and a half, 2 hours from the Appalachian Trail. So we can get you into some old mountains. They're not high, but they are old. So
well, that would be really interesting because our mountains here are tall and they're, as far as geology goes, they're young. So it's
you get on the AT and it's a green tunnel. You're walking through the woods. And that's what a lot of our hikes here are. It's walking through an enchanted forest, and the views are not as spectacular, and they're not as awe-inspiring. And they're farther. They're not as consecutive. But when they come up, it belittles you.
Well, there's something to be said for not being able to see everything ahead of you. Because we always call them soul crushers, but every once in a while here in Idaho, you come around a corner and you can see the whole hill you got to climb, and you almost want to give up. Yeah, there's a place called Ants Basin in the Bourne Lakes, but that you have about 900 feet of switchbacks going straight up the side of a ridge, and you can see it on 1.5 miles of approach.
Oh man.
So you're climbing all these little hills going up and getting to the flat, and the whole time you can see that switchback, and you're just looking at it going, man, I still have to go all the way to the top of that.
So John with Trailheads wants to know, are there any hangs out that way, or is that just an East Coast thing?
There have been a few occasionally. I think the issue with Idaho is simply a lack of population. If I remember correctly, the last time I looked, the entire state's sitting around a million people, and probably 400,000 of them are in the valley that I live in.
Okay.
So almost half the state's population is right here in Southwest Idaho, and the rest of it is either rural or unoccupied. So we have a lot of public land here. So
a lot of homesteading.
Not so much homesteading. We just have, in the late 70s, there was a senator that passed a wilderness bill, and now we have just an absolutely immense area of protected wilderness that no motorized vehicles. If you want to go in there, you're going on foot, or you're taking your horses or your pack goats.
Okay.
And that's kind of cool thing too. Like when I climbed out of Chamberlain Basin, we got passed by 8 pack horses coming out of like a 2-week hunting camp up there. And so it's, you get people from all different walks of life. And that's the cool thing about it is if you're going to go out there, you got to want it. So you run into a lot of like-minded people,
Hey, Ned, thanks for stopping by tonight and joining us. Stay safe tonight at work. Yeah, we'll catch you next week on the flip side.
Yeah, have a good night, Ted. Glad I could entertain you.
That's right, Anne-Marie. It's not Appalachian. It's Appalachian. That's an Atchin. Down here in the South. It's Appalachian. Down here below the Mason-Dixon line. Mike been across that Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, I didn't know I had been tricked into that. More than once said that.
We were sitting in Cambridge, Ohio, up at Battle Horse Knives, or we were almost there, or had just gotten there, or something. And Mike's like, "We're still south of the Mason-Dixon line, right?" Nah, brother, we done crossed that when we crossed the Ohio River about 2.5 hours ago at 65, 70 mile an hour. Mike went, "Oh, Lord Jesus, I need to go back south. We got to turn around right now." You done thought some city kid was pulled out into the woods and be like, "Well, where's the next 7-Eleven? Oh, it's about 8 miles from here." "Oh, no, we gonna die. We ain't near a 7-Eleven.
But then I realized I was around a bunch of rednecks, and I was like,
Rednecks and country folk are nationwide. We just got different terms for them. Yep, G-Webs is like Arizona. You gotta get up to like 6,000 feet to get enough trees close enough together.
Yeah, I'd say, here in Idaho, in a lot of areas, you got to get up to 4 or 5, or you're just in high desert. So,
yep.
But
nope. Here in the Carolinas, anything about 10 feet above sea level, we got pine trees. We may have swamp to go with those pine trees, but we got some pine trees.
Yeah, and out here it'll get so dry that everything you step on just snap, crackles, and pops. So
easy, G, easy.
Sir, in the state of the world right now,
I'm going to stay out of this one.
Yeah, I'm happy to be I'm happy to be in North Carolina. I'm happy to be down here south in North Carolina. You can stay right on out in Oregon, Washington on that West Coast and keep that party out there with you, sir. Keep that party out there with you. Excuse me. Let's see. So what's been the weirdest request you've had as a vendor? I mean,
well, I don't know I did have one amusing one where I had a gentleman who wanted a yellow hammock with brown accessories just so he could say he had a banana hammock. But I have had I had one request that I actually declined on because it was a very abrasive request. Well, it
Some
was just
risque
very
panties.
no. I could probably take care of that if it's my
Oh,
investment.
okay.
But,
Oh, well, see, Mikey got a backup plan now.
But no, I had and I'm sure some other people on this chat can understand this, but a lot of the fabric weights are average weight per square yard.
Yep.
And I had a gentleman send me a request for a hammock out of a specific fabric with very specific dimensions, demanding that it would weigh X number of grams. And I want to order that. And if it's 5 grams over, I'm not paying for it. And so I just respectfully declined to, because we're going to be in that. He was right about the ballpark,
You're gonna
but
be close,
that wasn't
not at a 5 gram difference.
no. And that was my thing is, that I can't guarantee it within that range.
Okay.
I can give you an average weight, but and then at the same time, when I went and looked at it, I was like, I don't think your math's right to begin with.
Yeah.
So, and I did have somebody who wanted me to build them a 10 style hammock. And I kind of just told him, for all the R&D that would go into that, I wouldn't even remotely be able to compete with the price of just buying one from them.
Yep.
So, but as far as strange requests for things, I can't really say that I've run into that. I did make a set of 22-foot tree straps for a buddy one time so that he could go up a tree with a ladder.
Okay.
No, they were elm trees. That just happened to be how far they were far enough apart at his yard that's how long the straps needed to be to put his hammock out there. So extension ladder, and they stayed up there for a while. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, nothing real weird. So
all right. So
yes, I do have Facebook and Instagram. So
go ahead, pimp the site, pimp the company.
Yeah, just the Facebook page is just Parallel 43. It's Instagram. I better double check and make sure it's Parallel_43. And you should see the logos on the Facebook page and the Instagram page. And yeah, I'm not a huge social media guy, but I do try to, post updates on there and keep some stuff going. So
let's see.
And thanks to Star Hill. Oh.
Hey there, Barry. Welcome to joining us. G Webb's got a good point. Why is there a big hole in it? Well, you wanted it under 2 pounds. So, and actually under 2 pounds for a hammock, that's kind of heavy in this world, G. Mike and I both got hammocks that are 11 ounces or less. And that includes the bug net. So, granted, I've got one that's I got a 22-pound hammock with the straps and the rainfly. But that's one of those big fancy tinsels. Let's see. Can you make... Ooh. Yeah, not everyone. Sounds like a customer you had, Autumn. I think I know this guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, at that point in what I was doing, I promise I was not the first person he called for that. So, in fact, if I remember correctly, he was upset that no one would make it for him. But, go figure.
See, Mr. Barry G slipped in here on us. How you doing, Barry?
Yeah, Barry, I got a pack to leave for Hootenanny tonight too. I may just do that early in the morning.
I'm envious. We got a little bit of time. I said I'm envious. We got a little bit of time before we're going to be out in the woods here. So,
sir, I've missed 1 month of camping since 2016, and that was last June. It was a year ago. This month was the only month that I've not had at least one night in the woods since 2016.
Wasn't you on like lockdown, locked into storm shelter dungeon because of hurricanes and stuff?
So June's a tricky month for me with Father's Day, my annual trip around the sun, and then my in-laws take a beach trip that takes up 2 weekends out of it. And my wife and I usually don't vacation together because we've got 2 rescue dogs that I refuse to put into any kind of kennel boarding, whatnot, because they were both abused strays, maltreated, and they're just spoiled rotten now. But I refuse to put them into any kind of boarding or kennel. So June's a tricky month for me, and man, if I get thrown into hurricane support for my day job, then yep, this month will turn into a no camping month real quick. So let's see. Yeah, geez, like I had to guess on weight. That's all right, man. We'll get you there. I promise. That 2A stuff, I look like a fool about every time I think I'm going to answer a question. So let's see. John says rewind to 26 minutes. So if you're at this point and you're rewatching the video, you might as well rewind it back to the 26-minute mark. Watch Mike jump in the lake again, make a meme, post a meme all over the internets, because this is gold and it's going to be here forever. And then jump back forward to this part, or just watch it all over again. I mean, that's okay. Let's see. We're about 10 minutes after 8. Interview's officially done. The shenanigans can begin. Okay, well, the shenanigans begin at 7 o'clock, and the interview runs till 9. Do what?
I said about 2 minutes into the show.
Yep. That's about how long we can make it.
All right. Well, I saved my next beer for the shenanigans.
For the shenanigans. Walk me through your custom cloud wing hammock, and I'm going to throw it up on the on the big screen.
Yeah, that's basically a it's the hexagon bug net shape, zippered on one side.
Okay.
And that's made out of the 1.6 Hyper D from Ripstop by the Roll.
Mm-hmm.
So just a good, general middle of the road hammock.
Yep.
And then basically on those variations there, the Duskwing has a continuous zipper that goes all the way around.
Okay.
And so you can stow the bug net in a stuff sack at the end. It's not detachable, but you can stow it away on there. And then the XL is the same thing, made with that 1.7 mountain fabric.
Okay.
So it's a higher weight capacity and a wider width. And I am working on
look, Mike.
Look
what he did.
Yeah, I seen that, but I highly doubt it, Barry.
Does everybody want to see Barry flip out of the tinsel again? I think we should watch Barry flip out of the tinsel again. Come over here. Type in video.
And Mr. dehart, I thought you already knew that I was an international player and I don't even have a passport.
All right, here we go. Everybody swears up and down that I am shaking Barry out. I'll let you be the
Now what? Cut. See, you grab the strap. He looks at the camera to make sure you got it. He's zooming. Goes to check on the camera. Then he's like, okay, oh shit, I'm on film. I need to go check on my buddy.
Yep. Is there anything wrong with that? Everybody here would do the exact same thing if I was flipping out of it. Check the camera, make sure it's working. Check the gear, make sure the gear's not damaged, and then check on me because I heal. See? All right. Thanks, Barry. We'll play it again next week for you folks if you'd like to see it. I guess I need to put together a blooper reel. Mike's
Super.
dry docks, Barry's dry docks.
Too bad Dan just left. We were talking about that earlier.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Wonder if we can get Barry dry docking with one of his fancy stands this weekend.
Hey, we seen him take a ride at Jones Lake in the stand.
No, that was me.
That was you.
That was me. that was me that clamshelled the Tensor 4. Yeah, Barry says odds are pretty good, so I'll get the camera rolling this weekend. We'll see if we can catch Barry showing the disclaimers of how not to sit down in a Tensor. Who knows? I'm taking my Tensor, and the way it sounds with trees may be a bit limited to the number of people this weekend. So I'll be probably sleeping in mine as well. So, woohoo! Oh, Barry will be on the trekking tree. So, yeah. And I think all you got to do is just lighten up one of those guy lines. You ain't even got to cut a strap. You just kind of loosen a guy line.
Look, he's already thinking about getting the upper failure, Barry. I won't put up with that.
Let's see.
I got a trick for you, Barry. We can PM and talk about it later.
Now, Mike, it's not nice to do your co-host like that.
I'm just trying to help Barry out. I'm not going to be there for the shenanigans, so I got to like sub it out to somebody else to do it.
Oh, let's see.
Boy, you guys are a crazy crowd out here.
We just try to
stash
brutal.
our beers in everybody else's backpacks so we don't have to carry them ourselves, you know?
Oh, no, we don't mind carrying the beer.
Yeah, but if you can get your buddy to carry it for you without him knowing.
Oh, is that what Barry was doing to me when he stumbled on the way to the Red River Gorge, and I walked into camp with 105 pounds.
That's kind of the way we do it is you can stash those beers in somebody's bag, but if they find it before the hike is over, it belongs to them. If they make it to camp and don't know it's in there, you get it back. So it's a risk because you might lose it. But
so what you do is like every few miles on your way into camp, you stop and check your pack and have a beer if you find one.
Yep. Then you go, oh man, I think it looks like your the tent poles are coming off the side of your bag. Let me get them fixed there for you. And shove a couple in there.
Yes. I like this game.
My good Idaho tip, if you guys are ever out here, you're probably going over a big ridge at some point. And if you're carrying your favorite canned beverages, find a place to stash one at the top of that thing. Because even though it's not going to be cold on your way out, man, is that a nice thing to have at the top of that hill.
Gotcha. So you're coming back. You're doing mostly out and backs.
Yep. Oh, yeah. 95% of the time here, we're doing out and back. So
we're either one way in it and stashing a vehicle, or we've got a fair amount of loops, or hook up other trails to make them into a loop.
Well, there's plenty of that here, but you're usually looking at 20 or 30 miles of alpine hiking to do a loop. Yeah. So, which can get pretty grueling. So,
yeah. Mike, you look guilty. folks, this is what Mike looks like when he's guilty.
It's my natural look. What can I say?
Yeah, he does look like he's up to something.
Always. It's when I get quiet and don't talk to nobody for a day or two. They all get worried.
Yeah. That's when he just doesn't get a text message. That's when he gets a phone call. What's wrong, Mike? You all right? You
So
ain't
you
in
guys
jail,
are-
is you? Go ahead.
So you guys are mostly doing loops or one-way hikes, and
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like what kind of mileage and elevation changes are you guys, on average? Obviously, you can't pinpoint it, but
Right. I like to keep my day hike or my daily averages around 10 miles or less.
okay.
Is usually what I like to. That's what my body likes. Anything we
Me too.
start getting over 10 miles, then at that point, the legs start really hurting, the feet start aching. I am very much so a minimalist hiker and backpacker. Base weight's usually anywhere from 9.5 to 10, 11.5 pounds plus food and water.
I don't know if I can carry enough of food to hike 15 miles at one time.
Yeah, Mike's 3 meal a day, an hour, or three meal an hour, 3 meal an hour hiker. So
I have
there's
that buddy too. Yeah, he'll
You know.
bring bagels and pitas and sauce and cheese and make pizzas and the whole 9 yards. And
Yep.
I'm like, no, let's keep it light, but to each their own.
Elevation changes. Mike and I have done a 40-mile trail that I do every year with the group, and the elevation change. The high point on the entire trail is 1,020 feet. That
Okay.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't call it a very flat trail because it was created by a scoutmaster for his Boy Scouts. So you go to this peak and then you see that peak off in the distance, and you hike down the valley and back up.
Okay.
And it's 40 miles worth of roller coaster, but none of the climbs more than 600-800 feet at any one junction. So you're just like, about the time your legs start really getting woke up, you're like, oh, I'm at the top of the hill.
That sounds kind of nice.
No, it's glorious. It's a beautiful walk through the woods, through a bunch of soft piney woods. And then you turn around and head out to, where I like to hike into Linville Gorge. And the first 1.3 miles, you're dropping 1,700 feet down into the gorge. And there are spots on some of the trails where you're looking at a 45-degree incline.
Right. Yeah.
So
we get those where they didn't even bother to switch back it. You're just going up the hill.
Yeah. And they're not exposed. They're very narrow, tight, almost deer and bear game trail width. That it's a very tight climb, and that's if it's a trail. I've taken steps to where my knee hit my chest, and that was just the normal step to that next step. That wasn't a step up. That was just that next progressed step was my knee went to my chest. Boulder fields and climbing up slides and rock scrambles and all sorts of funness.
That's what.
Know if you could make a hammock with the beaver logo on it, or maybe he wanted something with a beaver logo.
That'd be Oregon Beavers would be my guess.
Yeah, and I could make something in those colors for sure.
Was that orange
and black? I believe so. But yeah, anything with a collegiate logo, and this goes back to my days of doing audio, visual, and production, but yeah, it's the same reason. I'm sure you guys have run into this, but if you want multicam fabric, the price is outrageous.
Yep.
It's because multicam is a trademarked pattern. And so a lot of what you're paying for is a licensing fee.
Yep.
And I think that's the issue you'd probably run into there. Now, if you had a patch or something like that, you wanted me to sew on there, sure, no problem. But I can't charge you money to produce that image and put it on something, or then I'm in all kinds of copyright trouble. And So
It's just not.
yeah,
worth
if you want something in those colors, or you want to, have me sew something personal of yours that you send me to put on that hammock, I can take care of that. I can't provide anything with a collegiate logo. So
Let's see. Let's just go ahead, and if you haven't already been to the site, we will pop that into chat and throw it on up. It is parallel-43.com, because he's on the 43rd parallel. And if you don't know what the 43rd parallel is, you need to get some navigation, some LADNAV classes, and find out what your latitude and longitudes are. Shame on you.
Didn't the Freemasons have something to do with the 43rd parallel?
I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I haven't heard that before, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So
it just seems like in my mind there's some kind of relation to the two. Or maybe there's like 43 parallels of steps that they go through or something.
They have
I'm really
degrees.
not sure.
They have degrees.
Maybe it's 43 degrees.
Yeah, the 33rd degree Mason. Yeah.
I mean, I could be completely off on how many steps or degrees that they go through.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, those two are just clicking together.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a Freemason, if that helps. So
I'm not either. I got enough trouble paying attention at work, let alone Freemasonry. Let's see.
I like that comment. Carrying food's only heavy for a while, and then it's gone.
Yep. Then it comes out the other end.
Yep.
Yeah, but the problem is I can't carry so much of it at one time.
Mike needs a daily resupply with 20 pounds of food.
Pretty much. Oh, man. Yeah, like I got a buddy that's like, man, I can't believe you're carrying all that food. And yeah, you get to the end of the trip and he's like, oh, man, he can eat an amount of food. There's just no way I could eat that much. So
I'm almost the opposite for whatever reason. My body I don't get hungry when I'm hiking. My body, I have to force myself to eat.
I'll put it this way. After that first, what was it, like 12 miles that first day? I'm eating one meal as I'm cooking something else. Because I already knew what I mean. It's not going to be enough.
Yep.
We had this lady that, we can't say that she hiked the trail. She floats down the trail at Mach speed.
Yep.
She's like
she's every bit of a 3.5 mile an hour hiker.
That's moving.
Yeah.
On the first day, she's like, everybody always gives me food to carry on these trips. I always end up with a lot more food. I'm like, good. I will be looking for you tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm like, Abby, what you got over there? Extra to spare to eat.
Yep.
Then on day 3, they actually provided a meal for me. I mean, a nice catered meal.
It was a very nice catered chicken leg quarters, smashed potatoes, baked beans,
and I
potato salad, slaw.
I ate all kinds of snacks before the meal.
Mm-hmm. And REI shows up with their s'mores bar, so you can have a Snicker bar s'mores.
That sounds all right.
And then I made a pack of noodles and something else, and then ate, and then I think I ate again before I went to bed.
Yeah, Mike will eat like 12 days worth of food in 2 or 3. So Mike's trying to get his pack weight, his base weight down, so that he can compensate with food and still carry the same weight.
Well, the nice thing about Idaho, it's we generally have the ability to catch trout.
Yep.
And so and depending on when you go, there may or may not be fire bans, but we actually have a large part of the year where we can go up there and go backpacking and catch fish and have a campfire and cook fish over the fire. And it's you're in the middle of nowhere.
That sounds glorious right there.
We did the Soldier Lakes about a year ago, and for 4 days we were the only camp on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
We literally didn't see other people for 4 days.
Oh, that'd be
And
great.
yeah, I don't know, it's a unique place. If you guys are ever out this way, I'll show you something different for sure.
So G said if I wanted my channel logo on a hammock, he could do it. Great to know. Yeah, G, I literally just got a hammock from Trailheads that has on it the Trailheads logo, my logo, or the Gear Report logo, not my logo, but the Gear Report logo, as well as a one that says Pickl Power and the Tar Heel State Hangers logo. So maybe I can get up to those pictures.
And I have one with the same patches except for the lumpy, bumpy pickle. In that place, I have one that says Squirrel Patrol, because if y'all haven't noticed by now, I'm a squirrel. Squirrel.
So, I mean,
Oh,
those are... Let's see, those are the patches that Trailheads put on my newest Banshee. And that Gear Report's a silicone patch that I can pull Velcro off if I need to go incognito or put something on it, because I'm in more of a Second Amendment type area. So, G, if you've got your patches, especially if they're on a removable Velcro backing, they can easily sew on a Velcro section.
And for any of the viewers, if you like that Gear Report patch, there's some available. There's less than 100 available for the public.
We got a few left. We got a few T-shirts left.
And any of the Tar Heel members that's watching, if you like that tag that was on Pickl's hammock and would like one for yourself, you can get with me. They're $5. And that's shipped.
So, there you go. That's both of them together, folks. So if you're interested in either of the patches, get with Mike, get with myself, and we'll point you in the direction. We'll get them shipped on out to you.
And just to mention the Tar Heel patches, that money goes to the group to help with the hang, food, supplies, different things like that nature.
Comment came into the chat. Mike knows he wants the lumpy pickle.
John, I am not the one that kept disappearing with him, going to private vaulted rooms, and y'all both coming back grinning from ear to ear.
Don't mind him, John. Don't mind him. He just don't quite know what's up. Just don't know what's up. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank God. I'll pass on those trips.
Well, I got to agree with gun websites here about bringing quality food on a long trek. Yeah, that's what my buddy's for. He's going to bring it anyway. So I'll just have I'll bring my dehydrated food and my coffee, and when he makes too much food, I'll grab some over there. But
now I will admit, I mean, for me, coffee's a big luxury item for me. I will bring my grinder. I will bring my AeroPress. I will bring my whole beans, and I will grind a cup of coffee's worth of beans that morning. That, for me, that's just one of those luxury items that I don't want to worry about not having, because I like to have them. So
I don't go quite that far. I usually either just do the Starbucks Via, or I do have a really lightweight French press that I'll bring sometimes. But I'm right there with you. Like Folgers and powdered coffee, just no. The Starbucks Via is okay, but anything below that just tastes awful.
If you never had steak and lobster in the woods, or pizza delivered a mile into the woods, then
stop it, Mike. Stop it.
I don't even have anywhere here that would be an option. So
So this was the year before Mike went on this hike, because I do this hike every year. And I woke up Saturday morning and I heard somebody screaming my name very authoritatively in the woods. No, Mike, not like that. More like the police looking for me type. Something happened. Somebody got hurt. Time for me to come off trail. And turns out it was one of our Tar Heel State hangers, one of my buddies, Brad, who was supposed to be given trail magic at a different trailhead that morning. He showed up pre-dawn with a hot cup of Bojangles coffee and a Cajun filet biscuit for me out in the middle of the woods. So
Oh,
I've got 25, 30 people around me camping that hears this, somebody growling my name, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I smell coffee and, hear the word Bojangles, and yeah, I still haven't lived that one down, but that was a good sandwich.
Somehow or another, you have a knack for getting Bojangles delivered to you in the woods.
I do, don't
not the
I?
only time.
I do. So anybody that's watching this podcast, if we're ever camping together and you happen to run into town before I wake up, bring me back a Bojangles chicken biscuit so we can keep this urban legend going.
And since you're going, if you don't mind, and you stop at the store, I'll take a can of Pepsi.
But I will say, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to, make it pretty clear I'm on the opposite side of the country, but I honestly have no idea what a Bojangles is.
It's a fast food restaurant, and they specialize in Southern chicken and Southern biscuits. That you can really tell that there is a little old lady that shows up at Bojangles at 3 a.m., 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's making those biscuits from scratch every morning.
So I am going to have to come backpacking out east then.
Come on. Come on. And we'll attend a group hang at while you're out here as well, or we'll host one or something, because I eat better at a group hang than I've ever eaten at any other point in the woods that I can think of. Barry said in the chat, we've had gumbo, jambalaya, and Barry grew up south of New Orleans, so it's legitimate gumbo and jambalaya. I've had sheet trays of barbecue, the Carolina style barbecue get brought out, ribs, wings. I attended a hang last fall that I came in overnight and left. And I left out with a full sheet tray of chicken wings. I mean, there were 25, 30 chicken wings that I ended up going camping that next night with Shug and Hickory. And we just sat around the campfire, broke out my titanium grill grate, and we reheated chicken wings on the campfire and ate chicken wings from the campfire all night.
Now, do you guys do a lot of Dutch oven cooking at these hangs, or?
Yep, a lot of Dutch oven cooking, a lot of grilling. I've never seen anybody deep fry chicken legs in the woods better than that Mike guy over there.
Yeah, our last hang, I cooked 15 pounds of bacon and 20 pounds of chicken legs. We fried 10 pounds and barbecued 10 pounds.
Yep. And those, 10 pounds of barbecue chicken were fried in the bacon fat from the bacon that morning. And
then whenever I got done frying all the chicken, I went ahead and deep fried the rest of the bacon that we had, because you know how much bacon 15 pounds of bacon is?
Yeah, I do.
More than you want to know, but not enough for a weekend. And Barry's got a good point. There's a crawfish hang. The whole entire hang was around a crawfish boil on Saturday afternoon, and 25, 30 of us ate 100 pounds of crawfish in like 30 minutes.
I'm kind of curious where that line is, because I grew up, those were crawdads where I grew up.
Crawdads, crawfish, mud bugs.
Mud bugs. I haven't heard that one before.
Mud bugs, they're tasty, they're tiny, they're bright red. They make your nose run. They make your lips go all numb and tingly if they cooked right, and it's the greatest meat on the planet.
Wait, are you talking about crawfish or something else here?
Don't start, Mike. I'll revert back to that comment that Rammel posted earlier that you just happened to glaze over.
Oh, I did not request those colors. Those were the colors that he picked out.
No,
My
they weren't.
colors-
I was there when you requested them.
I said purple and lime green, not mono.
You said Mobo. John, we're gonna have to go back through that chat and post it. Mike gets a pair of see-through panties in my colors.
Damn it! I was trying to be surprised and be sexy for.
You gonna be sexy for my birthday, for my trip around the sun.
Woohoo! Party time.
You know what's funny is Mike and my buddy Brian are kind of drawing some parallels here. So
yeah, we all got a buddy like Mike. Some days
Not
that's
exactly.
good, some days that's bad, but most days that's pretty all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody's telling me not to go to Bojangles because I'll crave dirty rice and biscuits for the rest of my life.
Yep. I'm not so sure about their dirty rice. I mean, it's okay. But yeah, are you familiar with KFC?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bojangles chicken and biscuits is like KFC chicken and biscuits, only with a southern accent.
Or like by somebody who actually knows how to cook chicken properly?
Yeah, that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You eat a piece of my chicken, you'll throw a whole bucket of that Bojangles out the window.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You know, there's a lot of things I give Mike grief about, a few things I give Mike credit for, and fried chicken, that's one of the things I give that man credit for. He'll make some woman a good wife one day.
I tried that. It lasted about 3 minutes. I'm good. Subscription trial over.
What do you mean she didn't like your Bojangles?
I don't know what it was she didn't like.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but as you can see, as I told you, this was just, we just try to have a little bit of fun and have a good time, talk about some gear. Let's see.
So I got another just kind of off the wall question, just because I feel like doing a tiny bit of market research here. But
sure.
What kind of what kind of average temperatures are you guys camping in? I mean, like not counting wintertime, but like, you know, your late spring to early fall. What kind of temperatures are you dealing with there?
Let's see. Late spring to early fall, I will probably be lows above 40.
Okay.
I'll probably be into my summer gear. So I have 4 quilts that I run, and that pretty much covers me throughout all 4 seasons. I've got a 0-degree underquilt, a 20-degree top quilt, a 40-degree underquilt or top quilt, and a 50-degree top quilt. And then I've got a 20-degree top quilt that I kind of substitute in and out when I need it.
See, and I've got like a 30 and a 10 and one that's somewhere around -5, -10.
Okay.
So same idea. I think we're just dealing with a little bit cooler temperatures.
Yep.
But I don't think I'd want to deal with your heat and humidity either. So that's the trade-off.
It was every bit of, not today because we've had some storms, but I'd say Monday it was every bit of 90, 91 degrees and about 94% humidity.
Oh,
all day. Yeah.
We went camping last summer, and the day that we hiked in, it was over 100.
Mm-hmm.
Real feel was like 114 with like 100% humidity.
Oh, that's brutal.
You could literally cut the air with a knife. It was so thick. 5 to 10 steps from the car. Load your pack up. 10 steps from the car, you're full sweat.
It was a 2.5, 3 mile hike in. Fairly easy terrain. It was, I went through a half a gallon of water in that 2.5 miles. And then once the camp, I went through another gallon of water in about an hour.
Oh, by the way, it's a dry camp.
So Pickl was about 2 hours behind me. About 30 minutes after he got there, we had to go down to the river and filter water, and we brought back up like
4 gallons. Yeah, the river's about a mile away.
Oh, man.
So we got up Saturday morning and we just did a base camp. It was at a state park, and it's at the garage. Okay. And we did a base camp. So we walked down to the river that morning, at 9 o'clock, and it's already 85, 90 degrees out. I mean, it was just brutal. And walked down to the river, found a couple trees overhanging the bank of the river, set up a couple hammock chairs, and watched the tourists come down and wonder why we were sitting in hammock chairs in these branches leaning over the river. And we sat there for a good 5 hours.
Yeah.
And did nothing but shoot the shit and just hang out.
And watch people cross the little spillway that was right there where they could get out onto some big rocks, and pray to God that none of them slipped, because you could tell 98% of them were not outdoorsy wilderness type people and really didn't know what they were doing crossing that river.
Yeah, I think that's our biggest liability hiking and backpacking here in the Carolinas. You get a lot of people that will go out on some technical trails and be in flip-flops, and they might be carrying a 20-ounce bottle of water.
Okay. Now
I think there was actually one lady we gave some water to while she was.
Yeah.
I've been on one hike where we actually, I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago that we had a total solar eclipse across part of the country over here.
Yep.
That happened to go right over the White Cloud Mountains here in Idaho. And so we went up for 6 days and we watched that eclipse from a ridge up there. But the trail that we picked had not been maintained in the last decade. So there was a lot of picking your way through and figuring out where to go. And part way up, there was a part of the trail that had been completely washed away, with this really sketchy, barely trail going way up a steep hillside and way back down. And yeah, same thing. Here comes some people in flip-flops because there's a hot springs on the other side. And I remember us telling them, like, you should not go up there. Like, if that's the footwear you have and this is as prepared as you are, like, definitely don't go get drunk at that hot spring and try to come back, or you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they listen to us or not, but so
the nice thing I think got to make their own decisions.
Yep. I think the nice thing about Idaho is a lot of our backpacking locations are remote enough that you don't just go up there on a whim. You don't have a lot of people going, oh, let's run up to 4th of July Lake real quick. Cause it's just not, you got a plan to go there. So
that we've got. That's the problem. You've got, especially with COVID-19, the couple weeks leading up to it when they hadn't closed the state parks, they closed the state parks because they were just absolutely being overrun. It had nothing to do with stay inside, blah, blah, blah. It had to do with a state park that in early March might see 30, 40 people on a trail the entire weekend. The 200 car parking lot is full by 10 o'clock in the morning. And the rest of the day, people are sitting in line in their cars trying to wait to get to a parking space in the parking lot. And the parking lot holds 200 cars for a state park. And I guarantee you, half these people are in jeans and tennis shoes and, not carrying water, or just came out of REI because magically all of a sudden, oh, we got to go hiking now because everybody's under these, COVID-19 restrictions, and the only place safe is the woods. So,
oh yeah,
Right
there's
now,
a lot of
kayaks right now. You can't hardly find a kayak in any of the stores, or even online to order.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simply because everybody's off work.
oh yeah,
With nothing to do, and so now it's warm weather. So they're like, well, the lake is open, let's go paddling. So now everybody in the mamas wanting to go paddling, and that's literally, I was helping a kayak outfitter out on the week, and there was families out there renting the kayaks just as hard as they could that had never thought about paddling or been on a kayak, simply because they just seen us out there.
Yep.
Here in Idaho, we have a lot of whitewater. And what I was saying about hiking permits, completely the opposite for whitewater.
Yeah.
I know people that have put in their permit application 4 years in a row before they drew a permit to float a certain river.
Yep.
And I had a buddy a few years ago he came back from a trip, and he told me that he punctured a guy's boat intentionally. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, this guy was about to go down the South Fork of the Payette in a Walmart raft with his kid, and he thought he was going to be fine.
Yep.
And he was putting it in the water, and I didn't know what else to do because he was going to die.
Yep. That's class 4, class 5, serious whitewater.
Correct. And he punctured the guy's boat. And yeah, but I don't know what else you do in that situation. He said if there hadn't been a kid involved, he might have let the guy just, suffer his losses. But he was like, there's a 10-year-old kid with him.
Yep.
And
you don't have any right to be out here. I realize I am fully aware and fully supportive that anybody and everybody has the opportunity to go out into the wilderness. I am not against that, but I'm against people being where they do not need to be because they do not have the level of experience or knowledge to safely be there. If you're going to go out and, as Todd said, paddle a class 4, class 5 rapid or river, do it with somebody that knows what they're doing so that they can make sure that you don't die, and search and rescue has to go find bits and pieces of you floating down the river. If you're going to go backpacking, how many people actually carry a shelter, emergency shelter, a extra water, food, blah, 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 on a day hike? And that's one of the reasons why I've started carrying a 10 to 15 pound pack on my day hikes.
Yeah, me too.
One, it gives me the chance to actually get some trail time in with some pack weight. And two, it's just because there's some moron that I'm going to meet on the trail that's going to need that extra bottle of water that I keep in the pack, because some moron's going to need a bottle of water.
Well, there's also the, you never know. You get lost, you get turned around, you dropped your compass somewhere. Now you lost your sense of direction. It could happen to the best of us on a day hike where you might end up spending the night somewhere you didn't plan on spending the night.
Yep.
And if you know what you're doing, it might not be comfortable, but you're going to be okay.
I carry everything I need to pull an overnight other than insulation. And even then I've got an emergency space blanket. So it'll be a miserable ass night, but I know
miserable,
that I'm okay
but not deadly.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
it's funny. Years ago, I got
check John's comment.
I'm sorry.
I was telling Pickl to check John's comment.
Oh yeah, damn, they were supposed to be purple. Oh well. And Anne-Marie, I'm sorry. I hope you're not calling a crawfish, crawdad, mudbug a river cockroach, because they are too tasty to be a river cockroach. That just gives them a connotation that I just don't right appreciate, and I'm kind of offended.
It's really a freshwater lobster is what it is.
It's really a freshwater lobster. They look the same, they taste the same, they cook the same. They're just two different sizes.
That a cockroach is not a land lobster.
That'd be a scorpion.
They don't have no tail or stinger on them.
But they got pinchers. Cockroaches ain't got no pinchers. Trust me, I work from around the center. I've seen some pretty big cockroaches. They ain't got no pinchers.
Well, and around here, it's not unheard of to catch a big steelhead or brown trout on a crawdad lure.
Yep.
Because those guys will eat those things.
Yep. Well, let's see. We are rounding it up. Folks, if you've hung out for the last 2 hours, and I appreciate it, please, if you've endured me and Mike running our mouth and Todd being the guest for the last 2 hours, you might as well go ahead and hit the like button. You might as well go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because I'm assuming you've enjoyed it, because nobody wants the pain and the torture of listening to me run my mouth for 2 hours straight. So go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. We'll catch you next week. Todd, I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
It's been an absolute blast. I'm gonna drop you down into the green room, hang out for a couple minutes, and I'll wrap up with you after I wrap up with the show.
Awesome.
So again, thank you for coming on. And folks, if you get a chance, go check out parallel-43.com and see what Todd's working on, and show him some love. He's got some really nice bottle holders, as well as food bags for you cheapskates out there. If you're needing a hammock, he's got the hammocks. They are custom. They are built in America, because by Americans, and Americans with beards build American products. So, y'all go on, check Todd out, give him some love and such. So again, Todd, thanks for coming on, and we will catch you, sir, on the flip side.
All right.
And I apologize if you need a therapy session after hanging out with us for 2 hours. But
you haven't met my friends, Mike. I'm good.
Well, sounds like my kind of people then.
All right, folks, that brings this session of Hanging with Pickl and Mike to an end. I appreciate you hanging out with us. In the world that we live in today, with all the changes that are going on and all the unrest and unrighteousness that's being brought up, fortunately, we didn't dwell on it any tonight, and that's really what I wanted this to be about, to be happy, to have a good time. Thank you for coming on and joining us. Check on your friends. Tell them you care. Hug your children. Tell them you love them. Get some sleep. Enjoy the day. Check your temperature. Wash your hands. Go swimming in the pond, in the creek, in the lake. Get you some tree time. And on behalf of Mike and the rest of us here at Gear Report, I'll catch you on the flip side. Night, guys.
See y'all.